Howdy gang, welcome back to another episode. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you to each and every one of you that have helped support us on our bus conversion thus far. We appreciate all of you so much for reaching out to us, encouraging us, and just giving us motivation to keep going. A special thanks to our patrons over at patreon.com. If you're interested in helping to contribute, oh my goodness, there's a giant moth. If you're interested in helping to contribute on our bus conversion, please head over to patreon.com/lifeinabus. We greatly appreciate every one of you guys. Every single little contribution made to us helps us to put out more videos, and it helps us get on the road a little bit faster, piece by piece. So thank you to each and every one of you, really. Today is a stormy day, and it really rained crazy lightning last night. And so today I have to get stuff done. So I decided to build a tarp fort, and so we can finish putting on this panel that I started yesterday. So this is what I got here. And I tied it with everything that I could find, but just pulled this sucker over, and yeah, this is the benefit of having a giant tarp, you guys. Because seriously, this is really nice. This is the panel we are working on today. Yesterday, we pre-drilled the corner 2 holes at the top, the new piece of sheet metal, and put Clecos in it so it sat in place. We got it nice and centered. And yeah, we're gonna continue on today and finish this. Put some adhesive on it after we pre-drill all the holes, and then rivet it into place. And then this one's good to go. If you want to see how we started this panel, click on the link right there and it will bring you back to that video if you want to watch it first before this one. Otherwise, let's get to work. And then inside the bus, I decided to whip out the heavy duty lighting, and now we can see everything perfectly. Look at that primer, rust protection primer on there. I'm really happy that we did that. It has got some moisture on it already, and yeah, when I rubbed it off, it dried. I mean, it was immediate. It didn't look like it damaged the primer at all, is what I'm trying to say. Jeez. Anyways, though, if you want to see that video where we did all that, click there. All right, so what I'm going to get started on today on this panel is I'm going to follow this hat channel down here where I piloted holes already, and I'm going to go one after another, piloting these all the way down, and after each hole I'm going to put a Cleco in there so there's something pulling that sheet metal towards me to support the next hole that I'm drilling through. And yeah, we'll just go from there. Look at that. Really, really nice. It worked out perfectly. Yes. Now, we're gonna get to this side. I think on the inside of the bus here, there's a couple holes already pre-drilled. There's one right there, and then I used that one to pre-drill the new sheet metal for this Cleco. And I think I'm just gonna divide the distance between them a few times. Same thing down here at the bottom. Yeah, I'll just divide all this stuff up and make sure it looks good. And then we'll put some Clecos over there. And once this is all pre-drilled, we're gonna add some adhesive. We'll take the sheet metal off again, take all these Clecos out, take the sheet metal off. We'll add adhesive behind all of these holes, sandwich it together, and we'll throw some rivets on this sucker. Let's do it. Yeah! So what I've decided to do, instead of going over to this side and starting to pilot some holes, I'm actually going to pilot these ones through here first so we can get the crease out of this thing. The last thing I want to do is pilot these, and then there's a little, you know, bend or crease in the middle of it. And already with just me installing all these other pieces of sheet metal behind this, one after another, going through the bus, all these 4x8 ones over there, it actually pushed this piece of metal, the existing sheet metal that was on the bus forward, and now there's a little flop in that. So I just want to make sure that there's, you know, it's flushed on everything and not putting creases in the metal. So yeah, I'm going to pilot these guys next. So I'm going to make sure I'm not drilling into my hand. It's already happened once. If you want to see that video, click the link in that corner. It was fun. No, I was being stupid. And yeah, be safe out there. Well, my last 3/16 inch drill bit is obviously getting dull. To change that. Whew. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take the Clecos off of this side of this hat channel because I just don't need them there. I was just putting them there to help support every time I drilled below them. But now I can take those out. I'm actually needing to order some more Clecos. I lost a bunch of them somehow. So anyways, I'm gonna use these 6 and use them over here. I actually do have one more here. So I'll use that now. So, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, but maybe right there, you can see that there's kind of a, you know, a convex shape right there that's going out in the middle of this. And the reason for that is because that bottom piece of sheet metal that was in the bus already, like I said, it pushed it forward and kind of bowed it out a bit. So now at the top it's bowed out a bit. And I also have this 14 gauge hat channel right here sandwiched up with this 18 gauge sheet metal out here. So the two together, the two are together, 14 gauge, 18 gauge, and then this is also an 18 gauge going on top of there. And as you can see, this square tubing is on the inside of all of that. So now when I rivet through from this 18 gauge piece here to this 11 gauge square tubing, there's a 14 gauge and an 18 gauge gap combined in there. So hopefully it doesn't cause any crazy problems when it comes together, but you can kind of see though. Yeah, how do I do this? Yeah, as I pull it back, you can see there's still a gap there, and we're just gonna roll with it. Maybe I'll add a piece of sheet metal. Sorry about the light. Maybe I'll add a piece of sheet metal in between there or something like that, but I don't know if I have rivets that are gonna be big enough to get inside of that 11 gauge and then through a 14 gauge plus an 18 gauge gap through another 18 gauge piece of sheet metal. Whoa, that's a lot of math for you there. So anyways, we'll see what happens. Let's just do this. Let's wing it. Just came back out to the bus and it is raining pretty good. I'm pretty happy that this tarp is here today. Pretty awesome. This isn't awesome though. You probably can't even see it, but there's a stream coming down right where the rivets go. Right down all of this here. It's probably pretty soaked in the bus. I had to take care of some stuff inside, and let's see what the damage is. Where you at, light? There you are. There's water in here, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see where it's dripping there. Well, what do you do? It's probably because, you know, I pulled this tarp out like this, and yeah, water probably is just not escaping the tarp as fast as normal. And there's tons of little holes in our tarp everywhere just from, you know, being snagged around on the metal parts of the bus for so long now. We're actually really lucky it's held up this long. But yeah, anyways, let's get back to work. All right, so this piece in the corner is directly in front of where I need to drill back in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this thing out with the grinder quick. Well, nice and easy. All right, I'm gonna measure from this hole here to this hole down here and see if I can divide this section up into holes that are around 3 or 4 inches apart. Probably closer to 3, but we'll see here. Okay, just because this panel is the first panel that we put on the bus that isn't going to have another panel in front of it to go over it like that, which will protect the crack in between those two from the weather because it's overlapped by the next panel ahead of it. All these other panels have been put on like that. This one right here is going to be the opposite. So the crack or the seam in there is going to be revealed to wind and weather and all kinds of stuff while we're speeding down the road. And because of that, I think I'm going to make the rivets on this one twice as close. So every 2 inches I'm going to put a rivet just to make sure that this seam is nice and tight. You know, 2 pieces of metal are just nice and tight and butted up against each other really well. I will probably put a thorough amount of adhesive in there as well. Sealant adhesive. Anyways, yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to get ridiculously precise as long as it's pretty centered, you know, width-wise on this flange right here on this hat channel. You know, you're not even going to really notice if they're exactly 2 inches apart. And so this hole that was here already, not using it because yeah, don't need it. And then I'm also going to drill one 2 inches above this here. So, all right, so I'm going to pre-drill these really quick. Getting closer, getting closer. I'm trying to be really, really careful on this panel because it is the front panel. Like I said, all that weather is going to be hitting the site at like 65 miles per hour when we're headed down the highway. And I just want to be sure of what I'm doing before I'm just blasting holes in everything and, you know, going at it that route. So yeah, I'm gonna be very precise. So sorry. I'm sure some of you guys out there are gonna be happy about that if you're following along. But yeah, anyways, bear with me. Let's do this. Oh yeah. A really good thing to do if you're trying to pilot holes through metal is get some sort of a tap or something like that, whatever you want to call it. Put something sharp up against there, something with a point. Whack that sucker once with the hammer. Put a divot in it, it will help a million. So here's the holes I'm drilling. I don't know what you guys can see. I'm pretty sure you can see it there now, but Cleco, pull, gets skinny on the end, goes through the right size hole, let go, gets fat, hold your metal right in place there. Bada bing, bada boom. And let go, bam. Wow, it is absolutely gorgeous out now. It feels like it might rain again, but the sky is beautiful back there, if you can see it. Not sure what this camera will capture, but anyways, so speaking of this crappy camera, this GoPro didn't record any of this time lapse. It said it was recording the whole time, and when I went back to look at it, it said it recorded 0 seconds. So anyways, whatever. It's just drilling holes and putting Clecos in here. But yeah, I'm running out of Clecos, so I had to put a Cleco every other hole on there, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, it looks great. Turned out great. Got those pre-drilled. The bottom one's pre-drilled. Everything pre-drilled on this side. Now the questionable part is the top here, and I'm gonna put a decent amount of rivets across there. Here's the problem. That is a giant gap right there, and it kind of bows out because the bottom panel right here bows out a little bit, which is fine. So if you look really closely, you can see 2 pieces of sheet metal in between this new piece of sheet metal and this square tubing right here, and that's going to leave us like a pretty big gap. I do have the right size rivets, I think, to take care of this size gap, but if I just pull this tight against here like that, I don't know if you can see, but it's gonna cup in to the bus. It's really hard to see with this camera, especially since it's wide angle, but you could probably see it a little better there, but it cups inward, and I don't know. That means that this would cup inward, the bottom would bow outward, and it would just look funky, I think, from the outside, and it would probably start making that, it's not making the noise now, but you know, the saw noise, the old school saw noise. And I really don't want that. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna do my best to match the gap width with some metal, and I'm just going to tack weld it in between the square tubing and the new sheet metal. So when I pull it tight, that gap will be filled and it will be pretty flat on the outside. It won't be cupped or bowed. And that's the goal. So I think I'm gonna do that. I am kind of running out of time though tonight. I might go look for some metal quick or something and yeah, see what I can come up with. But if I can't find anything, we're gonna end this right here. So thank you very much for watching, you guys. I'm doing my best to keep this thing moving. Gabby's had a lot of work, photography and graphic design work this week, and so the kids have been left up to me to take care of, which is absolutely fine. We definitely need her doing those gigs for us to stay afloat. But yeah, it makes it really hard for me to get out to the bus. I'm doing everything I can. I just put Avery to sleep. I get about an hour after she goes to sleep of daylight, and then I have to put Isaac to sleep. So yeah, I'll try to come back out later. Anyways, if you like what you see and you want to see more of our bus conversion, please hit the subscribe button so you can see upcoming videos, and the bell notifier will let you know when we have new videos up. And like our video, share it around with some friends if you think it's interesting. If you want to share it with somebody that would think this is crazy and asinine, share it with them, and yeah, maybe we'll blow their minds. But anyways, all right guys, you guys have a good night. Thank you so much to our patrons. We really do appreciate you. Thank you to everybody else that's encouraged us and helped support us in other ways. We do appreciate you, every one of you. Have a good night, guys. Bye.